I was gone for 3 days. No calls. No messages. No panic. And when I came back, nobody noticed. I lived in a house full of people. Voices, footsteps, televisions always playing in the background. From the outside, it looked like a normal home. But inside, I felt like a shadow. Present, but unseen. Conversations passed through me, not to me. When I spoke, people nodded without listening. When I stayed quiet, no one asked why. At first, I thought it was my fault. Maybe I wasn't interesting enough. Maybe I asked for too much attention. So I learned to shrink myself. To speak less. To expect nothing. Over time, being ignored started to feel normal. Dangerous, but normal. That evening started like any other. A small argument. Nothing loud. Nothing dramatic. Just words that ended too quickly, followed by silence. I went to my room and sat on the edge of the bed. My phone lay beside me, screen dark. No messages. No missed calls. I stared at it longer than I should have. That's when the thought came to me. What would happen if I left? Not forever. Just long enough to be missed. I packed a small bag. Just clothes and my charger. I stood by the door for a moment, hoping someone would notice. Hoping someone would ask where I was going. No one did. The door closed softly behind me. The night air felt heavier than usual. I walked without direction, letting the streetlights guide me. Each step felt like a question. Will anyone realize I'm gone? I ended up at a bus stop. Empty. Quiet. The kind of place people pass through, not stay. I sat there as cars moved past, their headlights briefly illuminating my face before disappearing. Hours passed. I checked my phone again and again. Still nothing. At some point, I stopped checking. The next morning, I rented a small roadside room. The kind of place that smells old and forgotten. The walls were thin. The bed creaked when I moved. It felt like a place people stayed when they didn't want to be found. I lay on the bed staring at the ceiling. Thoughts filled the silence. Maybe they were worried. Maybe they were searching. Maybe my phone just had no signal. To distract myself, I replayed memories. Times I tried to matter. Birthdays that passed quietly. Messages left on read. Conversations where my words never landed. By evening, my phone battery was low. Still no calls. The second day felt heavier. I walked around town, watching strangers laugh, talk, live. I wondered how many of them felt invisible too. How many smiled in public but disappeared in private. At a cafe, I watched people check their phones every few minutes. I checked mine too. Nothing. When my battery finally died, the silence became final. No notifications. No false hope. Just emptiness. That night, I realized something painful. I wasn't missed because no one had noticed I was gone. By the third day, the sadness had changed. It wasn't sharp anymore. It was dull. Heavy. Settled. I didn't want to stay gone anymore. Not because I was missed, but because disappearing had taught me something I didn't want to know. I went home. The house looked the same. Same sounds. Same routines. Same television playing in the background. Someone glanced at me and asked a simple question. What do you want for dinner? No surprise. No concern. No questions. I answered quietly and walked to my room. That night, lying in my bed, I finally understood the truth. Sometimes people don't lose you suddenly. They lose you slowly. They stop noticing when you're quiet. They stop asking when you're tired. They stop caring before you disappear. And when you finally leave, it feels normal to them. I didn't disappear to be dramatic. I disappeared to feel seen. But what I learned was worse than being missed. I learned that some people never notice you were there in the first place.